Hi. Hello, everyone. My name is Jacob Abbott, and I was one of the co-chairs for the Symposium on Usable Security. My other co-chair, Yish Inzao, is actually over at the Max Planck Institute over in Germany. So she attended remotely on Zoom as she just recently started over there and was unable to get a visa to come back to attend in person. So yesterday it was me running everything in person while she attended. What we actually had yesterday was the very first time we actually gave a Test of Time award. And for our keynote speaker, it was for the paper User-Centered Security, which was originally presented in the 1996 New Security Paradigm Workshop, which we presented to our keynote speaker, Mary Ellen Zerko. And in her talk, she actually discussed about the current state of usability research and security. And from that perspective of her original research in that paper and where we've come from that paper, over 25 years ago, and things that we've done well, things that are still needing to be changed from that original paper and the aspects from it. So recap of that area. And then from the papers that we received, we broke it up into 4 different sessions. So the first session that we had was on AR and VR topics. The second session was on user attitudes and behaviors. The third session, we actually copied this from the European Symposium on Usable Security, which was their vision track, which was mostly topics on short papers, works in progress. And this section had a lot more topics built in for people to present work that may not be fully finished, works in progress as stated, but we also had extra time built in after the presentations for people to actually build in discussions after the presentations, so people could discuss it in the community and meet with the authors and talk about their projects and spark discussions either in Slack, in the Zoom, and in person to bring up these ideas of these projects. The fourth session was on privacy and security tools. And all of these were not originally, other than the vision track, weren't ones that we specifically set up. We had asked in the call for papers a wide range of topics, but these were the ones that came up naturally as from the papers that the program committee had all reviewed. And thankfully, it was actually a fun joke with myself and Yishin that we had so many wonderful submissions and so many wonderful volunteers for our program committee that the two of us, didn't actually have to do any reviews ourselves. And so we just held off and saying, like, keep passing these to everyone else. And if anyone bails, then we can do reviews, but we didn't. But one of the things that I want to actually highlight is some of these papers to give an idea of some of the topics that we had. So I pulled one from each of these different areas. So this first one, bans an evaluation of bystander awareness notification systems for activity in VR. This was one from our first session. To just give a very quick highlight, they were looking at, for virtual reality, when you put on the headset, you lose a lot of awareness around you for whether other people are there, what might be happening. And they were looking at how much information could you give to someone and let them know if there are other people there. Are they being seen? Is someone shoulder surfing on what you're doing, essentially? And what's the best way of notifying them? That is an idea of what that paper is about. The second paper, I didn't click what users say when reporting phishing, is a phishing study that discusses not just motivations of people clicking or reporting phishing, but what information are they sending in when they actually report phishing to their organization and the topics that they're dealing with. And that actually won our best paper award for the symposium. In the third action, we have analyzing the patterns and behaviors of users when detecting and preventing tech-enabling stalking. And this was from our vision track. So they were talking with people, specifically giving them a phone and a laptop and suggesting that they were having to try and look through and try and remove the potential of stalkerware or other objects for trying to remove the threat of any potential being stalked or anything, that someone being vulnerable on their phone. But how do you go through that? Because they brought up in their talk that even though it is very successful, different tech centers having this process done, they're very limited in scope in only 3 or 4 locations in the US. So how could they do that? And despite not quite having findings yet, it sparked a wide discussion afterwards. And then in our fourth section, one of the papers was a transcontinental analysis of the account remediation protocols of popular websites, where they pooled, I believe it was 300 websites from 6 different continents, where they pulled 50 from 6 countries randomly. And when I say randomly, I mean from a list of, I think, the top 100 websites from 6 countries that they picked from each, and looked at the different protocols and how they actually handled account remediations, and looked at similar ones across. So we have you can see there's a very wide range of different types of usability problems and interests. So if anyone is interested in these types of questions, these types of studies, please think about looking out next year and coming to USEC, and be on the lookout for our call for papers for next year. Thank you.